Well, hello to everybody here. It's Theresa Sanderson. Super excited, as always, to join you today with another episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. And today we've got a special guest with us. This is Maggie Worsfold. And Maggie, I just want to thank you for carving out some time today to join me and talk a little bit about your experience as a nurse entrepreneur.
Yes, thank you for having me,
Of
Theresa.
Of course, of course. And for those of you who don't know Maggie, I'm just going to share with you a few details about her. She's been a nurse since 1993 and actually graduated from nursing school in the Philippines. Before she became an entrepreneur and successful business owner, she had a long history in nursing, and she worked as a staff nurse and eventually worked her way into leadership and management at Kaiser Permanente. So her areas of expertise are emergency room nursing and critical care. And for over 25 years, she has served her community as a registered nurse. It was about 2 years ago that Maggie took a leap of faith and removed herself from the hospital environment to start her own business. And when COVID hit, she saw an opportunity to start both a home care agency, a home health care agency, as well as a staffing business. So she has found that combining her experience as an RN and a love for teaching has really just given her a great space to work as a nurse entrepreneur. Her corporate motto also embodies the mission of her company, and that is service with a heart. Oh my gosh, Maggie, thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Theresa. That was a lovely introduction. So I think you kind of leveled me up a little bit there. So that's great. Yes, I am 25 years in nursing and I love every minute of it. Just like you described, really, my heart is really into service, not only for people that are sick, but it's also people that are well and people that are also wanting some guidance through nursing, and also fellow entrepreneur just like me who are still thinking of starting to have a business, or they're already in business, and I am always there to help.
I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit. I know we talked your specialties are ER and critical care. Tell us a little bit more about your background in nursing and your history there. Maybe the kind of things you liked, maybe a couple of things that you didn't like so much, and that kind of thing.
I think at first when I was little, I really didn't choose to be a nurse. I actually choose to be a physician. Unfortunately, when I was 10 years old, my dad passed away. So from then, my dream to become a doctor kind of dampened a little bit. However, in my thinking, like if what else in the medical field that I could do, that I could help, I always think about helping the poor and needy and things like that, those
Sure.
little dreams of little girl. So I kind of thinking about, well, I could just go to nursing. All my families, my mom's sisters, they're all nurses. So I would think that this is probably the area that I would want to. I graduated at 1993. And once at 1994, I went to Canada, but I went there as a working visa. And after 2 years, I was able to have a chance to do a refresher program, and I was able to be a nurse out there. And also the school was sponsoring people to do specialty, and I picked emergency nursing. Emergency nursing because I just like that adrenaline. I like that quick thinking. I like the multitasking part of it. And really that is like the entry of all, people that I could probably able to serve. So I loved it and enjoyed it until I moved to the States, wherein I got recruited by a Sutter healthcare, and just started loving it. And until now, I serve until 2010. And then after that one, I plan to be a nurse anesthetist.
Oh, wow.
So I went to critical care to be able to do that. However, I don't think that's the will of God for me to do. She told me to just be in management and help out, fellow nurses and mentor and those kind of things. And I stayed to be that way until, entrepreneur uh door open for me, and I'm
Wow.
always been an entrepreneur. I always
Okay.
like to be, to be out there. And when COVID hits, I saw that there is a need for uh for a caregiver or a care company that would take care of our elderly, because
Right.
they will not be able to get out of their house. So if they sick, who's gonna take care of them?
Yeah.
And I was introduced to our very prominent Stella and Song, and
Uh-huh.
he was able to start me up and coach me and to be a better, business person and the area where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, since I have some people I have a pool of people, then I was able to get an opportunity to serve to the community through staffing.
Okay.
And from there on, the rest is history.
Wow.
It just a whirlwind. It's just
Yeah.
like my dream. I think my mission, what God gave me, it just came through. It's just, I've been busy for that 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
helping facility staff. I met a lot of people. I've become my own boss. Before I'm a manager, I'm still a boss, but now
Yeah.
this is it. This is like,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, the lives of these people is into my hands now, so,
Yeah.
and that's where I started. And from then on, I just grow and grew my company to
Mm-hmm.
have a education part of it,
Love it.
training part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and consulting.
Wow. So, Maggie, what I love hearing about your story is that, every entrepreneur is told find a need and fill it. In the middle of the pandemic, you saw this need for how are we going to take care of our aging? How are we going to, there's this huge staffing crunch that we hadn't seen anything like it, and so all of a sudden you just decided, okay, here's a need. I'm going to start a home care agency to take care of the aging. I'm going to add some supplemental staffing, and boom, you were off and running. That is incredible. That is incredible. So congratulations on all of that. I
Thank
just
you.
have to celebrate you because it's a perfect example. So anybody out there who's looking for a business idea, just think about that, because this is such a great example of finding a need and filling it. And so we don't have to look very far. I think in healthcare and in the world of nursing, there's all
No,
kinds of
not at
things,
all.
all
Yeah.
kinds of needs that we can fill. So love, love, love that.
So Teresa, when I was growing up, I remember my grandpa telling me, that if there's a problem, there's an opportunity.
Mm,
And that saying is really embedded in my brain. So a problem is not a problem.
mm.
Problem is something that's a opportunity knocking on you and saying like, solve this. There's something in here. There's gold in here. There's something that you need, that you can do
Oh,
to solve this problem. So I've seen that. So for now, like every problem you have, take it as not to like a problem that you will have anxiety with, but it's a
right.
problem that this is like something that will create thinking that, okay, there's a problem, there's a need, what can I do for it? Right. So I think that's what I really wanted
Mm-hmm.
to share it with some other nurses that wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that don't be scared. Your RN is a powerful two-letter word that you could totally change life. There is a superpower on that two-letter word that I've been telling everybody. Don't be scared. If there's a
Mhm.
problem, don't run on it, but go into it and totally dig what's in there. It's like
Right.
digging gold, right? Yeah.
Man, I love hearing that. I just love hearing that because I think all too often we think, and we can think in life in general, right? It's just too hard. or if we go to the unit and we work and we're stressed and we have, too many patients, well, what solutions might there be
Right.
that could make our work easier, faster, better?
Right.
How can we streamline? We have those ideas. We have it within us. We just need to bring it forward, and nurses need to be confident to bring it forward. So love,
Right.
love, love. Oh my gosh, we're so aligned. If there was a like button or a little heart I could push, I would push it.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you serve your clients now as an entrepreneur?
Because it's home care,
Mhm.
the way I serve it, it's really on their home. There
Right.
is a trend now, that people live longer when they are at home or familiar places.
Yep.
Because of COVID and the aftermath of COVID, hospital is the scariest place now.
For
Not
sure.
only for nurses, but it's especially for clients or patients.
Mhm.
So a lot of clients, especially elderly or their loved ones, would prefer them to stay at home. I'm
Mhm.
just very blessed that I was able to tap on that market. Or if
Mhm.
people are thinking, do I bring my parents to home, to the hospital, or let them stay at home because they're more comfortable at home? This is
Right.
their place.
Mhm.
And that generation of elderly, their home is their pride and
Right.
joy. A lot of
Mhm.
my clients, they built their home, they take care of their kids in that home, they
Right.
never move in that home. So it's for them, it's a pride and joy. They wanted to stay there.
Mm.
So the way I do that is I go to their home and really give them that opportunity that, yeah, they're right. This is the best place for you to heal.
Mhm. Exactly.
I usually interview them, do my pre-assessment, and once I talk to them and figure out the family dynamics, the person's likes and dislikes, that's where I come in and choose a perfect caregiver for them. And I've been very blessed again to really able to find these caregivers that really fit their personality, their needs, and that combination, it's like a good marriage.
I love that.
Having, a good caregiver and a person that wants to stay home, they
Mhm.
are more happy. The families have more peace of mind. And
Mhm.
that is what I'm giving as a company, is not only service care, but it's also peace of mind, not only for the client, but the family of the client.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's always my mantra when I'm doing my assessment and care and doing this
Mhm.
business.
I love hearing that, because there's, I think it was Mother Teresa who said, we can do no great things, only small things with great love. And I think that nurses are just so there. And your mission and what you're doing, being able to, look at the small details like the personality and needs, probably mental, emotional needs, of the patient and the family, and pairing them with a caregiver who's going to be able to fill that need, not just a warm body. And I
Right,
think so often, sadly, in healthcare and nursing, staffing shortage, bring on the warm bodies. And
right.
we really miss the mark sometimes.
Yes. It's it's also different. There's a lot of home care company. There's
Hmm.
tons of them.
Yeah.
But the difference between me and the other company is, I me as a nurse, my service is free for them. I'm
Mm.
actually not giving a caregiver. I'm not only giving a peace of mind. I'm not only giving happiness, but also I'm giving them another resource for my client to be their navigator. A
No.
lot of my
Mhm.
clients are doesn't know anything about the healthcare, the complexity of healthcare.
Right.
So part of my service is also giving them guidance and navigate,
Love that.
what they need, how to talk
Hmm.
to their doctor, how to get a home health company, how to to get resources for them that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also my service that is not hidden, but it's also, I tell them that I'm a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and for you to be in and if you're my client, I said these are additional service that I give, nursing service that I give, and this is a gift for you.
Oh my gosh.
It's a gift for you.
Oh,
I'm here to help you.
yeah.
You know, if you have any questions, if I see anything that is abnormal, I will talk to your doctor. If you have questions about your medication, I'm here. I'm your resource.
I love that.
And that is a gift that I could give my client. This is
Oh,
free of charge.
I love that. I love that. So what you're doing is considered in the cost of doing business. You know, your service is just an added layer of here's this, you know, patient navigation service or patient advocacy empowerment kind of service that's going to just help them go through the system. I love that. Congratulations, girl. You're doing some really good things. Your clients are well taken care of, very well served. So I love that. I love that. So what do you enjoy most about working for yourself?
I like the gift of time. You know, when I was working as a nurse, I'm very committed. If I do something, I'm always, you know, I give it all, you know,
Mhm.
to the point that sometimes I forgot about my family. I forgot about my niece's birthday. I forgot my mom's birthday. I forgot, oh, it's Christmas. I have to go home. No, because it's Christmas. I needed to be in the hospital. I have to be there.
Yeah.
Now that I have my own business, I have my own boss, I have my own time. I
Mhm.
actually able to go away and attend the most important part of my life, which is my family.
Love
You know,
that.
I was able to go home because my family are all in Canada. My mother, my brothers, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, my cousins, everybody's there.
Okay.
So now if there's anything, if a holiday, then it's my time. You know, I don't have to ask anybody for a vacation,
Love that.
and I'll get denied. I don't need that. You know,
Right.
I am able to go and be flexible, and I have great staff that would able to take care of the business if I'm away for 2 weeks.
That is incredible. That is
Right.
incredible. And I think you know, you hit on something so important. We talk a lot about, you know, time freedom, but until you really get to experience it, you know, it's so much more than a weekend off. It's, you know, true time freedom is so much more than that. And entrepreneurship may not be for everybody, but what I would say to that is if you are working in traditional healthcare, then make the most of the time freedom that you do have in that weekend off and set those clear boundaries. I would be setting some clear boundaries that this is my weekend off and nobody's going to call me this week. I don't care what happens with staffing on your unit.
Right. Right.
I am going to be off with my family the next few days, right?
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
so hard to do and so
Hard.
many times frowned upon, you know,
Right.
when you advocate for yourself. But I would be hard pressed not to do that anymore.
That is my problem, is the life and family balance. When I was a staff nurse, I always thought that if I don't say yes to this, that I would have that they will fire me or anything like that. Now
Yep.
it's good to know that I don't have to answer for anyone. I don't have to give report on anyone.
Mhm.
I don't have to give my metrics to anyone. My metrics
Yeah.
is myself,
There you
you
go.
know.
Yep, yep. That is a great blessing for
Yeah.
sure. A great blessing for sure. So now you mentioned, Maggie, that you recently, you know, well, you've had an education component to your business, and now you've also become recently a nursing continuing education provider, which is so exciting. And we were able to work together on that. So that was
Yes.
lots of fun for sure. So tell us a little bit, how do you plan on using nursing continuing education in the business that you currently have?
Okay. So, by the way, first of all, thank you so much, Theresa, because how many times I have tried to do my application for CEs, and I always have this it's like a wall to stop me. And I'm so grateful that I attended the nurse NNBA
Yes.
last year. And this is, I don't know if it's your first time to be there, but I have not met you before. That
Yep.
happened, and I was in a class, and I asked, like, how would I, is there anybody that you know in here that would help me with my CEs? I said an application. And one of your colleague was there,
Yep.
and it's like, oh, go to Theresa Sanderson. She has a booth. You have to go there and talk to her, and she will help you with that. And the first thing I did after the class that we have is go straight to that, and that's where I made it's like, oh my God, I need you, right?
I remember.
Because I am so busy running the business that that getting that C provider is kind of like minor. Like I can't do it. My time is focused on the business.
Right.
But I need the CE. Why? Because I would like to offer that. So all my nurses, all my CNAs, all my friends and family would be able to just go and go to my office. If I have any I have a lot of PowerPoint on classes, I could convert that as a CE, and I would be able to help my co-nurses that needed a 30 CEU units when they renew their license.
Right.
And another thing is, I would like anything that I teach to be a CE units. So it is worth coming to my class.
I love
right?
that.
And it's good. It's good for a business just like mine, that knowing that you are a CE provider.
Right.
It's
exactly
what I would say that it's 1 point higher than the normal nursing company that's out there, right? So I think it's like a badge of it's a badge that you could be proud of, that oh yeah, I'm a nurse, I have a company, and I also provide a nursing CEs.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
and I'm just happy when I saw that I got approved. But I know there's some challenges because California is really hard to get CEs to be a CE provider.
Yeah.
But because of your help, I was able to get it, and I feel like I'm a whole. Like right now, I'm like whole. Okay, right now, let's go, Maggie.
I love
I
that.
provide CPR. Now I could provide CEs.
Wow.
I could provide, also CE units to CNAs. And now I feel like I have more confidence. Like, although I do have some confidence, but I think it's just lifted up a little bit more the company's reputation or company's significance to the community. That's what
I love that. And I think those are such important points that you hit on. I talk a lot about how as a nursing CE provider, you're absolutely right that your business shows up differently than other businesses. And you land with great authority because of that designation. So it's interesting. I mean, groups of hospital case managers will sit down and talk to you, and be your captive audience while you teach. And these relationships are so important. So, you become a true value added partner, in my opinion, as a CE provider. And it sounds like you're making the most of that for sure. And I love that you're taking care of your people too, because I think when we can provide any benefits that we can provide to staff, team members, employees, that's always well received, and it makes you more competitive among agencies. If you have more benefits than the agency down the road does, then who will I go with? Actually, I will make that choice. And so I just love that you're doing that. So Now, what was the process like, working with me? You signed up. I remember at the NNBA conference, I think you were like the first one on my new website at the time. And I was like, there might be a glitch. I don't know.
Actually, it's not very hard. It's actually very it's a fresh of breath air of fresh air. It's
Love that.
because I would say that when I signed up, I got paid, I came home, you had my appointments right away.
Mhm.
After a week, I sitting here and telling you, okay, this is my goal. How would I do that? And uh the next day you have email for me, provide me with all these requirements. I send it to you, and that's it. Just waiting time.
Yep.
We have a little bit of like, oh, you didn't complete this, you have to do that, and I
Yeah.
send it to you, you return it back to me, I send it back.
Yep.
It's not hard, and I love that I have you, because if it's always like, what do I do this, why am I get denied again,
Yeah.
at
I
least
hear you.
I'm there and they're like, Teresa, I have issues with this, what is this for? I was like, oh, Maggie, just send it back to me and I will redo it, or
Yep.
I will add this, I will remove this, and boom.
Yep. Love it.
And then
Love
next
it.
thing you know, the person that's in charge of that were just calling me and they're like, oh, yeah, I received your email. Okay, I think it looks good. It looks good. Okay, I'm processing your CE. Right? It's like, wow.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So really, for those nurses that would love to have CE provider, because I think it's very important to have a CE provider. I mean, right now I have people calling me from cruises that
Ah,
offering a nursing
love that.
courses,
Yep.
are asking me if I could provide CE for them.
And
So I
that's just
just hold
another
on to that
income
because
stream. Yep. That's
those are
just
the
more
things that I
money.
have to ask question, like, how will I provide the CEs for,
Mhm.
for them? Because I would love to. So
Yeah.
it's it's um it's like opening another door for me.
I love that. I love
So
that. Yeah,
many doors are opening.
we can definitely chat about those details if you need some
Right.
info. Happy to help you with that, because that is the beauty. That's another thing that's kind of hidden in the CE provider program, is that you
Mhm.
can now help other people, other nurses who want to teach things of value. Every nurse, I believe we all practice a little bit differently, right? You practice differently than I do, but over the years of experience, we all develop what we consider best practices. There's a certain way that
Mhm.
I take care of a patient that probably is very unique to me. But those are things that if I shared those with a newly graduated nurse, how many years would that shave off the learning curve? If I could
Yeah.
teach, this is what I do, and this is how I do it, and this is why it makes a difference, and throw in some evidence-based,
Right.
information to where it all makes sense, we could really advance as a profession. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right. And
love what you're doing.
it's so funny too, because I have another friend of mine who is taking a medical cannabis certificate and wanted to give CEs, also reach out to me and is like, hey, Maggie, how can we get CEs for to
Yep.
teach the basic medical cannabis, certificate, which is California is so huge to that, and nurses really has no knowledge yet, not deep yet, or not even how will I use medical cannabis into practice if I have a patient like this. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the some areas that the nurses can also another learn, because it's trend. That's gonna be a trend now.
Mm-hmm. And we need to be aware of what our patients are doing.
Mm-hmm.
If our patients are using alternative therapies, medical
Mm-hmm.
cannabis, essential oils, whatever it is,
Right.
nurses need to have a working knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
Because there's pharmacological implications there. There's
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of things that we just need to be aware of. We don't need to know and understand everything, but I think it also gives the patient a safe place to go
Right.
when there's a nurse who understands.
Yes. That
Yeah.
is exactly what it is. So
Love that.
yeah, it's really, Teresa, thank you so much. That really opens so many doors for
Oh my
me
gosh, I'm
when
so excited.
added into, you know, to my business, because now I'm seed provider. So they know that if they learn something, it is something that they can take and have a certificate on, and that they can show
Yep.
BRN that they took some classes, you know, they took
Right.
some continuing education to improve themselves or improve their license as a nurse.
Exactly,
Yeah. Mhm.
exactly. Well, I love all of that. Thank you for sharing. What I
Mhm.
want to ask you now is, what is the one piece of advice, Maggie, that you would want to scream from the rooftops and make sure that every nurse who is maybe wanting more, wishing he or she had more balance in their life, wishing that they could just find some other way to earn an income, or if they could just add some extra income to their family without having to get another job.
Mhm.
What's the one piece of advice you would give to any aspiring nurse entrepreneur?
I think it's very easy. And this is what I tell everyone. I always say, you have an RN. I said, you could do everything. It's really up to you. I said, I always advise, again, just like what I said earlier, look at look at yourself first and see, what do you really want as a nurse? Do you want to teach? Do
Mhm.
you want to do you want somebody else to make beautiful, so you be an aesthetic nurse? Do you want to be a consultant? I mean, I asked him, what really makes you happy
Mhm.
that you can do as a nurse? You know, even though, like, again, like, even like those aromatherapy nurses, they could
Mhm.
help people that are sick, and they could help hospice patient with their aroma, you know, therapy,
Yep.
things that you would don't do something else that you're not happy with.
Mhm.
It's not me to say, oh, you should be a foot nurse, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
No, I can't if you don't like dealing with food. You know, so
Right.
it's really, you know, it's really up to you. What do you really like? What interests you? What makes you happy? You know, what is your goal for your family? Because there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, even just consulting, I started to be a consultant. You know, I like elderly, so I
Mhm.
started consulting, you know,
Mhm.
and that get me to this. You know, I
Love
I
that.
I go to the care homes, I look at their, you know, if there's anything that they need from me. So I do a lot of consulting, because there's a lot of business owners that doesn't have a medical background, so they used me for that.
Mhm. Okay.
And that is would be the advice that I could give everyone, because I can't tell you to do this if that's not
Yeah.
the path that you want it to be.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
really into you, and be creative. And the most of all, the most important is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I mean, don't be afraid to fail,
Mhm.
because when you fail, you learn. Then you won't do it again. Then, okay, move on. If you fail again, then, okay, what lessons did you get?
Yeah.
No, don't be afraid, because I think a lot of nurses are having a lot of fear. Fear
Mhm.
that, like, oh my God, if I quit my job, I won't have medical, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, if I quit my job, I don't have this, I don't have, you know, you don't have to quit your job, but you have to just go on and pursue what you want it to be, and just do it without fear.
Mm.
And soon to be, you'll be there, and soon to be, you quit your job.
Yep. I
Right.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And so much massive wisdom in such a simple statement. Find what makes you happy. Do
Mhm.
something that makes you happy. Don't create for yourself another job. Find something that makes you happy and do that. But isn't it true, though? I think nurses we're kind of used to just grinning and bearing it, and just, what do people tell us? Just push through. You're going to have to push through. Life's too short. Life's too
Life's
short.
too short.
Yep.
Yes.
I say be bold, just like you do. Don't be afraid. You got that RN, you could do anything you want.
I learned that fear is the other side of success, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you remove that fear, then you go through your success. Another thing is don't overthink. That's where the fear comes, is the overthink. Oh, what if this happened? Oh, well, it's not happening yet. Okay, just do it. And if it happened, then find a
Then
way
you'll deal with it. Yeah,
to do
yeah,
it. Yeah, to deal with it. It's
yeah.
not happening. Don't overthink it because it's not happening yet.
I love that. Oh
Yeah,
my
and
gosh.
that's always I'm very bold. I'm very abrupt, not really abrupt. I'm very like, people come to me because like, oh well, how about if this has happened? Oh, how about is this? I said like, well, is it happening? No, but if it's happened, okay, then if it cross the bridge when you get there,
Yeah.
okay, don't be scared on crossing the bridge. just go for it.
I love
Go
that.
for it. Yes.
I love that.
Again, the RN, the two-letter word in our name
Mm-hmm.
is our superpower. Nurses doesn't know how important that RN in their name.
Mm-hmm.
That's your superpower. That's your superpower.
Incredible.
Really, literally, I'm not kidding. You could do a lot of things being an RN.
I
People
love that.
respect you. If you said you're an RN, people respect you.
Yep.
Use that,
Yeah.
use it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Use
Great
it.
advice. Great advice. So, Maggie, I want to thank you again for being my guest today on the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. And what
Thank
I'd
you.
like to do now is just give you the next few minutes to share with our audience how can they connect with you, if there's any offers that you have or anything that you want them to know about your business and how to reach out to you. Please feel free to take this time. I'm going to give you the floor and you can take it away.
Okay, so whoever wants to connect with me, I'm really easy to find. If you go to my website, www.servicewithaheart.com, there is a contact me and it goes straight to my email. My email also is very easy to find. It's Nurse Maggie at servicewithaheart.com. And I always check my email. I'm very busy, but my goal as well is I like mentoring others. If you have any question, you could always write your questions in there, and I could return email 2 to 3 days, and just ask me anything. Yeah, just ask me anything, and if I have an answer, I could give it to you. If I don't, I will find it for you. I'll give you advice to find it as well, and maybe give you a little bit of resources that you need. My great advice to all the nurses is just go for it. Always show confidence, because people believe in you and people trust nurses. And there is repeat it again. I'm going to keep repeating. You have a superpower. And I want you to do that in the goodness of your heart as well. You have to do that to serve others. That's my advice. And again, I'm here. I'm with the community of nurses. People know who I am. They always say like, oh, Maggie always help people, even though, Stella told me that, like, oh, you go to Maggie and she'll like, she will find a way to help you.
I love
And
that.
there's a good thing and a bad thing on that, but I always think about the good things, and I am here for service. Again, service with the heart. I'm always here for the client and also fellow nurses.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What a blessing to have you on today. I want to thank you again, Maggie, for sharing your story with all of us and letting everyone get to know you a little bit better. And also for just the wonderful work that you're doing and how you're showing up in service every single day. Love, love, love that. So for those of you who are interested in connecting with Maggie, she's given you some great information. I'm also going to share her website link in the comments below this video so that you can connect with her easily if you need to or want to. I guarantee you won't be disappointed, but thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again,
Thank
Maggie,
you,
for joining
Theresa.
me. Absolutely. And so this concludes this episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. I will see you again next time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.